I mean, I told you I had a few for you if you needed it.
Man, that music was loud. I had to turn it down on my main system.
That's because you're jamming in the morning, man. You're just like getting
I do.
down, having a good time. Stop sharing that. Like you're just having a blast, you know?
8 degrees, 5 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, it's kind of chilly. I really contemplated dressing up like Buddy the Elf and then making Santa's workshop behind me. And I was like, I don't think that's the way to go. I want people to pay attention, not be distracted.
Pay attention to you, not your outfit.
Yeah, come on. Like, but listen, no offense to anybody else out there. I know everybody's in Florida, but man, come on. Like, we get to handle the holidays. Yes, it's a little chilly this morning, but I mean, we live in paradise. I don't care what anybody says.
That's true. No, it could be it could be a lot worse.
It could be a lot worse.
So I had a thought this morning that is very relevant to what we're talking about today.
Uh-oh. We didn't plan this. Uh-oh.
No, no, this is the popped my head. This is the last training for the rest of this year.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
wondering what the hell I'm going to do with myself every day at 8:30 in the morning.
I don't know, man.
I think you got 10 or 11 things to give us something to do.
I definitely do. And honestly, if you accidentally log into a morning meeting, there may be a reminder of those things. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We'll see if anyone
Because
pays.
it's not a holiday, right? We're still preparing to launch 2024, which the best news I got this week was a report that they're expecting 4.7 million home sales, where the early reports were 4 million home sales.
I mean, that's positive.
That's like a 20% increase
That
almost,
we
what they
could
were
use
doing.
that. We could use 20%. I'm sure everybody on this call could use
Right.
20%.
But we got to be ready to launch 2022 or 2024 on January 2nd.
Yes.
So we get some things to get ready.
Yes.
And you get some ideas for us, I think.
Yeah, so I know we've spent a lot of time these past few weeks talking about goals, talking about mindset, talking about, showing up like the person that you want to, whatever those big ass goals may actually be, but starting to show up like those people. And we've given you everything from our primary aim to kind of help kind of guide you down that path. We've talked about, even once we've decided that, we've talked about personality profiles, we've talked about picking a lane, we've talked about, what's your superpower. We've talked about all these different things for you to kind of really narrow down and say, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I am going to succeed this next year. These are my goals, and I am going to have a fantastic year. Now, what I thought would be very relevant going into the next couple weeks is, let's talk about the technology that we have and some things that you can do this next week. Okay, this next week and a half, to really ensure that you are set up to rock it out in 2024. That's the way I kind of look at it. And a lot of agents do slow down a little bit, regardless of how busy you are. This next week tends to slow down a tiny bit. It always does.
Well, look, we
So
had one listing on the hot sheet yesterday.
I was working with Dick Wilson last night, and he's in MLS a zillion times a day, and he's like, this is like, he goes, there's no new listings that hit the market in Sun City today, and typically there are. And he's like, there's 246, blah blah blah. Start spitting all that stuff out, but I think the idea though is, let's set ourselves up, let's get where we need to be, and since everybody does tend to slow down a little bit, use that time to kind of do the things that you've been telling me all year that you need to do and that we've been talking about and training about. Take some of that time now. Now I'm not calling you out, Whippa, but I'm going to call out your comment. You said you're sad that there's going to be no training and my schedule will be off. This will be my challenge to you, Whippa, and everybody on this call. Since there's not going to be a meeting from 8:30 to 9:30, why don't you spend that time doing some of the things that I'm talking about today? So still do something, still schedule it. Don't get off of that schedule, but just put something else in there that you have not been able to schedule probably most of the year to ensure that you're set up and ready to go. Does that sound good?
Man, I think if everybody did that and spend an hour a day just on their business, that would be so much more than the rest of the general population is going to do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And some of the things I want to talk about setting up and doing will allow you to stay top of mind. And that's really kind of what today is about too, doing all these things. So you stay top of mind, you look better at doing those things too. So when we are flipping, when these people are flipping the switch. I'm sorry, Virginia, you keep raising your hand. Did you want to say something? I'm sorry.
She might just have a trigger finger.
But I think by doing these things will set you up and give you a lot more time also. All right, no worries, Regina. Cool. So I'm going to share now this is the thing. I'm going over about 10 or 11 things, okay, that you should be doing these next couple weeks to make sure
that you're ready to launch.
That you're ready to go. Okay. Now, I will not be able to go through every single one of these. And I know when people log into my trainings, they want to see how to do stuff. And I will show you how to do some of it. Okay. I will show you a zillion times if I have to get you comfortable using this. But I will tell you, these trainings are out there. This isn't anything new that I've been talking about, but this is that time to kind of slow down and get rocking and rolling. But before we do that, Craig, I do want to call out some key dates just to make sure everybody still understands. I know we talked about it yesterday. Chris talked about it yesterday. We talked about it on Tuesday. But the offices will be closed tomorrow and on Christmas on Monday. And then we'll also be closed on the 29th, which is next Friday, and on New Year's Day. Now, that means you can still get into the offices with your Kissy app. You can still use the facilities. You're good to go, but they will just not be staffed on that point. And what that means, obviously, if you've had any closings this week and you're having one today, you're not going to be able to get, unless you're using Gusto, which Joy sent out the email as walks through everything to plan for these next 2 weeks when it comes to your closings and when the paperwork needs to be in. So look at that email. I'm not going through it. I just want to make sure that everybody understands. Don't be calling Joy today saying I need my check from today.
Actually, I think we're going to get policy change for 2024, and we're not going to do paper checks anymore. It's going to be Gusto or no check.
Well, Gusto or get paid at closing when you're at the thing. Yeah. So if you don't know about paid at closing, there's training out there. Talk to your manager, and you need to look at Joy's email that she sent out later that earlier this week that talked about.
Just to comment on that. So Gusto is a program that we use. We log every payroll through, and it creates our 1099s automatically for the end of the year. Because imagine creating a 1099 for 400 salespeople. It's a pain in the butt, right? And this way it's done. Everybody's paid through Gusto app platform. And you can check your 1099 anytime during the year if you want to.
Yep.
Which is super cool. So, and then it's ACH transfer. The money just goes straight into your checking account.
The money gets wired directly to your bank account. If you're not doing that, I don't know, but you should be using it. So that's enough about that. And then finally, C21 awards. So everything needs to be in by the 3rd of January to be able to qualify for your awards. So that means Centurion Awards. That means, well, any of the awards that Century 21 has. One of the things I'm going to talk about today is Real Satisfied and your Quality Service Awards. You want to make sure that you have all that stuff in by the 3rd so you can qualify for this year. Now, obviously, next year we know the
not an arbitrary date. That's a cutoff. There's a 2 business day cutoff rule. If it ain't in dash, it's not going to count. So nothing we do.
All right, cool. So let's get rocking and rolling. So first, I always do this, but this is a little different this time. So I do want to start seeing some people raise their hands, but I got a few questions to ask you. Everybody that is on this call. There's only about 53, 55 right now. Hopefully we'll get some more jumping in. But do any of you on this call today want to show up better to the people that you already know? And we know that there are going to be some agents that are getting out of the market. So that means the people that actually work are going to be your competition now. Do you want to show up better than them too? So I got one person.
I had 2 surprises in my email this morning. Two of our agents went inactive. Just boom,
yes.
Done. I give up. I'm not paying my board dues. It's not worth it to me anymore.
All right, now I'm gonna, okay,
we got a lot of yeses.
This is good. Okay, I'm gonna lower hands. Now I'm gonna ask this other question. I know this is crazy. Does anybody want more business? Craig, I'm gonna raise my hand too.
I know a lot of people do.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Does anybody here want to start the new year off strong? Yes, yes, yes. Keep the yeses going. I want like 200 comments of yes. If you have to do it 3 or 4 times, I don't care. Do you want to know who and when you should be following up with the people in your database?
Yep.
Does anybody yes? I mean, I feel like we're at a Tony Robbins. Say yes.
Say yes.
Say yes. Yes, but Moxie helps. Yes, it does. And then finally, do you want to stay top of mind with your database?
Yes.
I'm saying, you know what? I just want to make sure nobody put no in here just to like.
I don't see any no's coming through.
Okay, good. Well, I appreciate that.
And
Usually,
you're at
John.
99 chats right now, so you asked for 200. So
Okay, that's
we'll
good.
get there by the end of
Awesome.
the day.
Awesome. All right, so let's get into these 10 or 11 things, and then I will send out a couple of these slides just so you have the list of them, and I might end up posting this in the morning meetings for next week just so you can log in if you forgot, you don't know how to check your email and all that kind of stuff. But these are going to be basically the top 10 things that you need to do, and I'm going to walk you through a few of these. There's 2 pages of this, so feel free to take a picture of it if you want, but I will be sending out these slides, or at least just these 2 right here. And these are going to be, well, these are the first 5. Okay, so the first thing that you need to be spending time doing right now, Craig,
I agree.
is you need to clean up your database. And we've been talking about this for a while, but first thing you need to do is clean
Well,
up your
mine is
database.
getting cleaned up automatically because you keep sending things to my people and they keep unsubscribing.
Well, I mean, that's true too. So if you do, look, there's not as many people that are unsubscribing. And I know people get a little hurt when they're like, I had 2 people unsubscribe. Okay, awesome. You have 1,000 people in there. What percentage of that is that unsubscribed?
Very little.
And if you really wanted to take it to the next level when they unsubscribe, look who did it and call them, find out why.
That's right.
Most of the time, it's the people that are new lead at don'tcontactmeeveragain.com. You know, things like that. That definitely happens all the time. But when I talk about cleaning up your database, okay, I want you to go through your database, take the time this next week and a half to go through it, see who needs to be in your database, and also start making groups. Okay, and it's important to make groups so you can easily identify who your past clients are, who your buyers are, who your sellers are, who the people that you're working for, working with, who some of your networking partners, some of your personal clients. You want to separate them into groups because it makes it very easy to market to that specific group. And I'm going to talk about a couple things when we get down to some of the campaigns. Okay.
I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, Jimmy, but we have a list of all your past clients.
Well, you say it. I was going to go in there. If you do not have that list or you have not been updating your database, get with your manager.
We can download it for
and
you.
We can download it for you.
And then you have to manage the rows and put them in the right columns and upload them into Moxie. And you're going to show us how to get to that training, right? Because we're going to teach everybody.
Yeah, there's, hopefully you guys know where it is, but I will. Once I get through these, I'll show you where I can actually find it. So we're going to do, and one thing I definitely make sure, because we've only had Moxie for almost 2.5, 3 years now. I would go back if you have not been doing it this year, and there's a lot of new agents that are on this call too. Any client that you've worked with this year, you need to make sure that they're in here. Any client just in general that you've had in the past needs to be in here. But if you have not been doing that, you need to ensure that you're going in and doing that. Rachel,
I used to say this a lot. I had this thing I used to say a long time ago called pause and reflect at the end of the day. Right. As we
pause and reflect at the end of the year.
That's what you're talking about now. But I'm talking at the end of the day. Going into 2024, as you go throughout your day, you're going to write down a piece of names of people you meet, the grocery store, or whatever it is, or put a business card in your pocket. Take time at the end of the day and put those people in your database. So that's one of the key things for 2024. All the guys, Jared, James, all those people are talking about that. So we got to put database as the back of your mind, #1 option. That's your job, to grow your database and then nurture it, because lead follow-up is going to be more important next year than it is the year before.
Oh yeah.
Because people are going to plant seeds and then they'll be nourished.
Yep.
And Mike just wrote into the chat, the listing he was promised that expired, didn't renew. They renewed with their old agent. Right. I'm not saying, Mike, you didn't follow up, but I'm saying if you did follow up more, that might not have happened. Right. Or if we show up better.
Definitely show up better. Now, and I'll touch on Mike's situation too, real quick, because I hear this a decent amount. When the property is already listed and represented by another agent or whatever it is that's going on, you cannot talk about that listing. You cannot talk about how they're not getting marketed. You can't talk about any of that. But what you can talk about is how you would represent them when they list with you. Not cancel this and come list with me, but you know, this is how I run my business. This is how Century 21 Beggins does their things. This is how this happens. You're not talking about the listing. You're not trying to get it from them. You're not doing any of that stuff because that's unethical. But I can tell them, because if they reach out to me, I can't reach out to them. But if they reach out to me and say, "Hey Jimmy, how do you handle your business?" Or, "Hey, this listing sucks. We haven't sold yet. What can I do?" We're like, "Well, you know, I can't talk about what you can do now, but if you listed with me, since you reached out to me, I can talk to you."
Right.
Right. Okay. So kind of let's get back in here. So making groups, past clients, buyers, all your networking and stuff like that. And I'm just going to show you quickly how you can clean up your database. Okay. And Rachel, yes, reach out to me. I'll tell you how you can. It's basically in Dash, and it's just a consumer mailing list is probably the easiest way to do it. And
Yep.
I'll give you all the information. Okay. So let me show you real quick when you get into Moxie. I'm not walking you through how to log in, how to find it. I'm not doing any of that stuff. But what you're going to want to do is when you're to set up groups and clean up your database, this is the easiest way. And again, there's a video on how to do this. You're going to go to Moxie Engage, go to People and My People.
And the video is actually a better way to do it because you can pause it,
You
do
can
it,
pause it and go
pause
through
it,
it. Yep.
do it, pause it, do it.
Now, if you know by looking at this huge database of people that they should not be in here, I can easily click on these like so. And then I can come up here and add to, or sorry, not add to, I could just remove them. So if I know somebody should not be in here, I'm going to go ahead and remove them and take them out of my database, if that's the way you want to do it. Or I can click on them, identify what's going on with them. And if I decide that I want to move them to a group or take them out, I can click on the contact.
You have the spinning wheel of death going on.
It always takes a second, especially since I'm doing all this online. All right,
Mike
I can
asked the
see what.
question, said, can you contact an expired listing with a generic email? The answer is not if it's targeted to them directly. If
Right.
you're emailing an entire neighborhood, you're not expected to remove their contact because you know they're listed. But if you're specifically typing in John Jones, or you know he's expired, he's listed, you cannot email him.
Mike, I wouldn't go down that path of going after listed properties and trying to get them to list with you eventually.
It's just sleazy.
I would not. I'd focus on the ones that have expired, for sale by owners, canceled without any conditions. Like that's where I would go. Again, if you're blanketing in an email to an entire subdivision or something like that, it is what it is. But I would not directly go after. Well, if the listing agent contacted you, then you can talk to him. You just can't talk to him about his listing.
Yeah, no, if a seller calls you for any reason, the gloves are off. Go for it.
Yeah, but you can't talk about his specific listing. You can only talk about what you would do later. And he's already listed, relisted. So there's a lot of things that can go kind of funky with that.
Mhm.
Honestly, you talk to him, but I wouldn't be spinning a ton of wheels on that. I would be focusing on other ways I can get business, not someone who's already just relisted with somebody else that potentially is going to have to pay money to cancel it if they decide to go with you, but it is what it is. So back to this, Mike, that's one off. Let's talk about that, another time, if you don't mind. So let's go through this real quick. So this is my contact form. I can see who this person is. And if I want to, I can scroll down and I can remove them from here, or I can actually add them quickly to a group. Okay. So I can come down here. These are all the groups that I have, and I can add someone to it.
Let's
Okay.
talk about groups for a second, because, let's say I'm farming Symphony Isles. I would have a group for Symphony Isles, right? And
Yes.
over time, as I meet more people or somebody moves in, moves out, I want to maintain that database.
Yep.
Take them out of that group, put them into another group, add the new people in, get their email address. So this is what I'm talking about, managing your database on a day-to-day
Yes. And this is all part of the cleaning up process. You want to make sure that you identify these groups so it's easy for you to go in and the idea is if I have my farm and Symphony Isles that's in there, I can have a specific message that I want to send just to them at one time. It could be an e-blast, it could be an email that I send out to everybody. Shoot, it could be a Moxie presentation that's letting them know everything that's happened in the last 30 days in the market.
Yep.
The other thing that it will do by putting people in groups is if I have groups already set up and I take this person that I just added and I add them to one of my groups that already has one of my campaigns running, they will automatically be enrolled in that campaign. So if I go to the managers here and I add Jimmy McNally to the C21 managers and they're all in the recruiting campaign, now this new person is automatically put into that campaign. So it saves a lot of time. Now, just real quick, I'm going to show you how you can add groups Groups would be farming areas, communities, networking, past clients, so past buyer, past sellers, things like that. Shoot, I have some agents that have like that are on the sideline from last year. They're like, and they had literally, it says on the sideline buyers is what their group is called. So they can easily focus and deliver a message that they want to.
That's awesome.
All you're gonna do, sorry, go ahead.
That's awesome. Lead follow-up is the biggest responsibility we have going into next year.
Yep. So what you're going to do to make your groups is just click on edit groups here. And on the right-hand side, you can see the groups that I have, but you can come in here and easily add a group. You can delete a group, and then just hit save. And now that group is available for you. That's all you have to do. So the next week, I'm not going to go any more into cleaning up your database. But you need to come into Moxie Engage, go through your clients to see who should be there, who shouldn't be there, make your groups and start moving people into the groups. That's one of the first things that I would be doing. If someone is in a group and you add to another group, no, they will not get duplicated emails. They're only going to get one at the same time. But my question is, how many groups do they need to be in?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because once they become a client, I push them into a past client group, because that's to me a little bit different. Even if they're in a farm, I would
And
move them
put
over
on your
to a
real
past
person
client.
hat. How many emails do you want to get from
Right.
vendors? Right. I actually unsubscribe a lot now from people that just send me an email every day. It's too much.
So that's going to be that standpoint. So that's step one, clean up your database. Okay. Step two, or number two, or another option for you to do now. Update your bio, pictures, social media pages, emails, Zoom links, whatever it is. I'm not saying you need to do that, Craig, because your picture still looks the same, but
I haven't changed it.
listen, and I'm not saying you need to do this, but if you go to some of the old bios that have been there for years for some of you, and I know who some of you are, some of those bios, when you write them, they are not as specific as specific as this past year. And it could have been like, I've been in the business for 4 years and all of a sudden it's 10. Just
Right.
look at your bio, update it. Picture, your written bio, whatever that looks like. Look at your social media pages and see if you need to update any of those pictures, any of your bios in there. You want to have a consistent branded message across the board and you want to show up better. Check the bottom of your email signatures and see if you need to update that there. Also, just little things like that. I get agents all the time that say, oh man, that's got the old picture. Like, I don't want to send this out. Where's your bio updated? For Moxie, your bio is going to be updated by sending it to Caitlin for some of you, or your OTL. So Caitlin, Susie, I know Angelique will do it for you also. I mean, you could send it to your manager. They'll send it to one of the OTLs to get it taken care of. But it needs to get updated in the back system. So
We push it through
everything.
Dash, which you don't have access to.
Yeah,
And
you don't need to. So just
update century21.com and
Yep.
Mox and all those sites. But we'd like it in Word. Don't send us a PDF.
Yes, don't put it in Word, and then and make sure it's spell checked, all that kind of stuff. And by the
Or
way, there's a
Google.
tool that Mike Puma has that you can go in and it will help write your bio for you. Okay, so make sure you get that done. That should be something that you can rock out quickly, except for those of you like, I'm not ready to take a picture yet, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. It is what it is, but this is a great time for you to make sure that you're set up for the year. Remember, that's what we're talking
This is
about.
great advice.
Next up, we are still talking a little bit about Moxie, right? So your entire database needs to be put on a holiday campaign. Okay, your entire database needs to be on a holiday campaign. It's 19 touch points for the entire year. That's 19 touch points of staying in front of somebody. Typically on a holiday campaign, it's like 60 to 70% open rate. So if you got 1,000 people, you have 700 people that are probably going to be seeing your face 19 times a year. And let's
Most
talk
trainers that I listen to say it takes 47 touch points a year
Yep.
to effectively follow up. So the 19 are taken care of with just a holiday campaign.
And they have nothing to do with real estate, but guess what they have?
You.
This big ass thing that says Century 21 on it. The #1 recognized name in real estate. People are automatically identify. And, you know, this is a shameless plug for when all you agents go make your own, you know, marketing material, which some of you do a fantastic job. You need to make sure you call out Century 21 because people are going to recognize. Okay. They will recognize, you like that? They're going to recognize that it's real estate again. Okay. There's
No,
two
I'm just
different
remembering a
campaigns.
time. I went to Publix last Saturday to buy balloons for Toys R Us. And this girl was blowing up balloons for me. And she was 25 and she had just moved here from Colombia. No, she moved here from Miami because they couldn't afford to buy a house in Miami, but they bought a house in Waimama of all places. Because of course I talk about real estate to anybody I talk to. And
No way.
she asked me where I worked. And I said Century 21. And she says, what's that? I found a person who does not know what Century 21 is.
Nice.
I said, you drive by our office every day. If you're driving down 674, you're going right by it.
Here, just, you know what? Just go to CraigBeggins.net. You can see exactly what it's about. Okay. So let's talk about these campaigns. Okay. To do campaigns, there have been some that have been updated from Century 21. So there's actually 2 different holiday campaigns you can look at doing. Okay. If some of you already have this running, you're fine. You don't need to do anything with it. But for those that are not doing this, I just want to walk you through. This is how you set up a campaign. And this is going to be also the page when I talk about eBlasts, what are going to be available for you. So real quick, this is all you have to do. Go to Moxie Engage, click on campaigns, and click add from library. You have to pull in the holiday campaign. Okay. You have to pull in the holiday campaign from here. So for instance, there's holiday e-cards, and then the other one, I know there's a lot in here because we give you a lot. The other holiday campaign is, where did I pass it? This 2024, this 2022 to 2024, this will go through Mother's Day of this next year. But this is the thing with Century 21, when they do a campaign, they will automatically add more to it. So right now, this campaign, when I click preview, this is what they will look like. You'll see that on the right-hand side, there's some things that have already gone. But as I scroll down, you'll come down, you'll see that it's going to end on Mother's Day. This automatically gets updated by Century 21. Do not change anything about this. You can change the dates that these go. You can take emails out. I get that a lot. If you do that, yours will not update when Century 21 does. So that's fine. If you take out some of these things that are popping up, take it out. Just put on your calendar to restart this after Mother's Day. Add it to campaign. You can set it up for everybody and bob and weave.
So it's not going to end on Mother's Day. It's just
there's going to be, and this is how I can kind of show you here. So when we look at this other one from Century 21, where's it at?
Parent company.
No, there's another. You know what? Let me flip that.
Holiday e-card pets.
Well, they just added a whole bunch onto. They're actually working on another one. Where's it at? It was a holiday e-card one. I passed that, I think. All right, I can't find it. I'll have to show you guys a video on that one. But there is an e-card one also. That has everything for 2024. And the reason I know is when I come into all these emails that are available, you will actually see when I get to Century 21. You can see all the new ones that they have available.
Nice.
Okay. So everybody goes on a holiday campaign. 19 touch points.
So this
Don't
is
touch it, it'll automatically update.
Our sales meeting on Tuesday, January 2nd, is going to be, how many of you did this?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer should be 100%. Yes, I did.
Yep. Next up, you've gone through and you cleaned out your database. If you have the holiday pet campaign and select regular non-holiday campaign, do recipients get both? If you put them on 2 separate campaigns, yes. So choose wisely how you're going to do that. You don't want to, because they're 2 totally different campaigns, Carla. So if you have someone on a holiday pet and then one that's not, they could get 2 different ones because they're 2 different campaigns. If it's the same campaign and they're in different groups, that's a different story. But if it's the same, if it's 2 different ones, they're going to get 2 different ones. So just choose wisely. That's why it's important to group out your people.
Yep.
Maybe you have a group that says dog lovers. I don't know. Next up. Other campaigns. Okay. So we talked about cleaning up your database and putting people in groups. You want to put your buyers, your sellers, your past clients, all that kind of stuff available for you. Okay. This is something that we've done for you. So thank you, Angelique and Mike Puma, for everything you've been doing with the content. I have put it from the content and put it into more campaigns now. So there's a lot of different campaigns that are available now for you that you can start putting your clients on. Okay. So some of the campaigns that are available for you today is one, we have a farming campaign. It goes out every 30 days. So it's once a month. You can preview it to see what you want. So Craig, you just put a Symphony Isles thing, right? So here are all the emails, and here's everything that was made for you. Already done, ready to go, going out literally for a year, every month. Okay. So if you got a farm,
This is like in addition to the Sochi thing, right?
this isn't a, yeah. So, and that's one of my things on the list is to make sure you've signed up and you put your card and stuff in there. These are not printed, Trisha. These are just going to be, and honestly, Trisha, all of these are on the training platform because all of our content that we put available, we're just using the stuff that we've already been making and putting them into campaigns that you can actually send out. Okay. This is not Soci. So Soci is only social media. This is going to be email campaigns. Okay. Next up here, you have a 3-month buyer campaign, and this will change every 3 months, just so you know. I'm taking the relevant content that Mike is making in the past few months that's relevant to what's going on now and making campaigns out of it. So if you have buyers, and one of the things that Jared James says, right, Craig, is you need to put somebody on a search, and I'm going to add this to it, is you should have these buyers that have been on the fence on some type of campaign that's talking about why they need to be buying now.
If they didn't set themselves up, you set them up on.
Yes.
It might
And we're
not be
gonna actually
perfect,
get to
but
that
it'll
point
be
too.
better.
There are also campaigns in here for our prosperity network. So absentee owner, expanding your family, newlywed campaigns. So those are smaller campaigns, but you can, if you have your group set up to absentee owners, blah, 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 you have a campaign now that you can send them on.
Yes, Trisha will send you the list.
Yes. All right. The other campaign that is available in here, and this is something I am super stoked about, and I'm going to preview it for you because it's not going to make sense to you. But the wizard article is now going to be set up in a campaign.
Ooh.
What this means, it's going out on the 21st of every month. These are not in Spanish. There are some Spanish campaigns available, and we can look at trying to figure out how to do that. But right now, at least they are not in Spanish.
I bet we can go to Chat GPT and say, please change this to Spanish.
That's probably what we'll end up doing it. So this is your wizard article. Now, this is obviously May's wizard article. So if I don't go in here and put the new one, and Craig doesn't give me January's, which he already did, and we'll have updated, this is what will go. This is what will go out the 21st. But this is the deal. These will be updated for you. So when it's time for it to go out, we'll have it updated, and the correct one will actually go out when it's supposed to. Okay. This is just a way to automatically set up. I would not recommend editing any of this stuff. If you edit the day, if you edit what it says, then you will not have the updated ones when it's time to go.
And a little shout out to Samantha. She does a lot of work making that look like it does, because that's
Yep.
way better looking than what I used to write.
And as you can see here on these, it just says article placeholder. You will actually see these change as I get the new one. You will see a new one up here for December, so you know what's going out. But it will be available for you to save you time, so you don't have to do e-blasts.
Right. So if you get 19 touches going out on your holiday campaign,
another 12 here.
12 touches from your wizard, that's an 18 to 12, it's 31.
Okay.
Right? You still need 17 more to effectively manage your database, is what they're saying.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
We're not done yet.
So, Jasmine, you said, what's a good way to ask for someone's email to add them to the campaign? I think it just depends on, well, I mean, you just ask them. Have you built a relationship with them? Give me your email. What I like to do is I think the wizard article is very powerful. It's very localized, at least for, I mean, you could probably use this almost anywhere, but it's very localized for what we do and how we do business and stuff like that. Craig's been doing it for so many years. So if anything, I want to get them set up on, this wizard article to keep them updated. What did she say? Hold on, she said.
I've never seen this many chats at one time, which is crazy.
Yeah, this is fantastic. All right. Next, so we talked about all those new campaigns that are available for you. Next up, what I want to talk about is Real Satisfied. So your testimonials. Remember, the third is when everything's cut off. So if you have not qualified for your quality service award, which if you go to, you have to go to 21 online for this. So I do, you know, we are going to Century 21's site. I'll go back to this real quick while that's loading. I recommend this next week and a half to reach out to anybody that you've sent a survey that has not responded. Personally reach out to them and resend them the link to have them do it. If the email's incorrect, we can fix it, get it to your manager, or Angelique can actually get in there and do it. Your OTL should be able to do it also. But get that, if the email is incorrect, we can get it adjusted to get it resent out. But you have till the 3rd to get these reviews. Now, it's not just about getting a quality service award. Yes, that's pretty awesome. You get a nice little,
Yeah, I know a lot of agents that work their ass off and really
and
want that.
that's what they want. You know, that's what they want. But I think it's really important in your business to make sure that you are getting, you know, some of these, getting these surveys and getting feedback. So, you know, the nice thing is there's a website dedicated specifically to your reviews that automatically get sent for you. And then there's a way you can actually put that on your website. So again, you're going into the new year with all your latest, you know, reviews are updated. Everything is looking fantastic. So to do this, there's a couple ways you can do it. But if you're on like this homepage, you can
And
usually
that also feeds realtor.com and something else, right?
it's realtor.com. You can sync it up with your Facebook, so automatically link over onto that there too. Zillow and like Google, you have to send a link with a couple things to kind of tie that, you know, tie that review into it. But, and ideally one of the things when I get to the website side is making sure you have testimonials on your website as you start getting more business and start kicking butt. But you can come down here, you can look at your customer, you can look at your surveys here. The other way, what I would recommend to do is if you have not, just click on the menu on 21 online, go to Productivity Hub. It's in alphabetical order. Just scroll all the way down to QSS Real Satisfied. I know I'm going a little quick. QSS Real Satisfied, or find one of the emails that you have and click on it, and it'll take you to your dashboard too.
My
So
trick,
once you,
21 online, so I should search bar and type in Real Satisfied.
you could just do Real Satisfied QSS and get to it too.
Mhm.
So when you get to your page, it's going to look a little different than mine because you'll actually see the surveys and stuff that you have. This is going to be more of a manager kind of
You're pretty
look.
good, dude.
Okay. And so this one is actually for just Apollo Beach. So you can kind of see what you can see return rates. You could see, I can see mine and stuff like that too. But if you go to click and manage your profile, you're going to come to this dashboard. Basically, this is basically your Real Satisfied dashboard where you can see kind of how you're performing, completion rate for the entire time you've been in business. And in this case, what we're going to do is we're just going to go down to where it says surveys here. And there's, I know there's a couple other ways to do it. This is just one of them. I think this is probably one of the easier ones because you can see what this looks like. But I can come down here and it's actually showing some that have not done it yet. So these are older surveys that I had done that I can easily click here, action, and I can hit resend. And if I click resend, I need to reach out to Madison and Jody and say, hey, can you send me that survey, please?
You know, I think that's an important thing to say again. It's okay to call these people and say, hey, by the way, our year end is closing up and I noticed I didn't get a review from you. I would really help a lot if you would do that. I'm resending the survey if you don't mind. And then ask when other kids are and their dog and all the other stuff. Right.
Yep.
What a great way to stay in touch and be productive at the same time.
So that is one of the other options. So that's number 5. So make sure your testimonials are updated specifically for quality service. If you don't have any quality service or you're focusing on another way of getting testimonials, like let's say social media, or maybe you're trying to get Google reviews, that's fine. Go in and make sure, okay, and make sure you're requesting these reviews so you can start off the year strong. This is a perfect opportunity for you to do it when you're slowing down a little bit. You need to reach out to these people and say happy holidays anyways. No, can you play it again? Let's get it over here. That's good. All right. Sorry. And then, you know what? Lauren made a great check on your PCC. So preferred client club. You know, I think it it's smart to go in here and make sure that you are up to date because they depending on what you choose, it could be 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. It may be time to update your preferred client club so you can set people up on it. and
Yeah,
ensure
they
that they're getting
expire.
their
And that's a
stuff.
nice closing gift, or that's a very inexpensive way to stay in touch with somebody. My daughter
Now,
just
I will tell you,
got
something I
one.
learned when I was at corporate, some people do, is they don't even care if it's a past client putting people in this. They'll go into a business like a hair salon or something like that and say, hey, do you mind if I just put my magazine here, send you a couple things a year? And they'll literally sign up a business for a preferred client club for 5 years for $43 or 7 for 58, where they're going to get a couple magazines that's going to sit there where every person that's coming in waiting to get their hair done is going to see your face, see your magazine, see greeting cards, see calendars, all that kind of stuff. Just a
Well,
thought. Kind of cool.
I always like the idea of adopting the Cobra client too.
Oh yeah,
Just
why not?
start that
I
business,
do
new
both.
business.
Well, especially if you have a seller, we don't know where they're going.
Mhm.
Obviously you try to get that information, but why not get the buyer that just purchased it on it too? All right, next one. Okay, we got 6 more to go and we got like 20 minutes. So ensure your website is set up. We've already talked about biopics and all that kind of stuff there, but you need to ensure your website is set up. Okay, what does that mean? Have you added all your broker pages that you want? Are you set up? Is it up to date? Is your domain right? All the basic setup for your website. Is it ready to rock and roll for the new year? And one thing I have on here is, have you added testimonials? I will send a video out on how to do this. But wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if your Real Satisfied surveys just automatically fed into your website?
Yep.
Well, it can. There are a couple steps that you have to take. I'm not going to walk you through that because that gets very techy and it's not honestly, it's not fun. It's not that hard. The video I will have will be fantastic for you. Sorry, I have 2 different testimonial pages just so I can show the difference. But it's really not that hard, but trying to show people like a few, it's just to make sense today. But this is so first thing I noticed on mine, my Real Satisfied picture is not updated. So guess what? I would go in here. I'm going to make sure I get the right one to Dash so I can make sure this feeds all the way through and I'm good to go.
And how do we get it to Dash again?
I'm going to send it to Susie and ask her to do it for me.
Right.
Okay, but this
Or
automatically
Payson,
updates.
or Lorraine, or all the other people.
Carla, you should be able to log into 21 Online. It should be just from 20. Are you having issues getting into 21 Online? All right, so you want to make sure, again, your website is up to date and ready to go. This should not take long. Both of these that I recommend with the testimonials and your broker pages should take less than 5 minutes to do. If you've already
You're
been doing
crazy
it
if you
all
don't
year,
have
you're good.
the new websites, the new projects. I promise you're going to run across somebody that's going to say, "Oh, I'm thinking about something over on the beaches," and you can literally text them a link to your website right from your phone, send it to them. They're going to click on that, and then they're in your website. And if they inquire on anything, you're going to get the lead, and they'll start shopping on your website. It's super cool. I do it to people all the time.
All right, so Carla's having an issue with it.
Carla, 21 Online is our go-to place. It's a single sign-on site, so you
Yeah,
should.
she's having an issue with getting into Real Satisfied though. Something about activating it.
Huh.
Carla, is it 21 Online or is it actual Real Satisfied you're having an issue with?
That's the question. If you go log in through 21 Online, it should take you straight in. You should have to log in twice.
And just remember, to get into 21 Online, it's the same login for your Moxie. So it's first dot last name. Okay, so you did. Okay, so what I would recommend, Carl, in that case, go ahead, send I don't know, is Angelique on here? Sorry, Angelique. Or in this case, you could send it to Caitlin or Angelique and just ask them if they could just look at it.
Or
If
the
that's okay.
2-1 helpline too.
Yeah, that's true. There is a little thing where you can actually chat with someone too. So, all right, cool. So make sure your website is set up. And from there, when you are posting and marketing, post from there. If you're marketing a property, post from your website. The more people you get on a website, the more it's going to populate online too. Obviously, there's some things you can do with SEO, which we're not going to discuss right now, but use this website because your website has so much information. It's not just about a property search, which is the next section. Your buyers should be on some type of search. I don't care if it's MLS or Moxie under their faves and saves. I'm going to show you Moxie, and I'm going to tell you why you should do faves and saves instead of MLS.
Hey, Angelique just said Real Satisfied went through an update and everyone has to reset it up now.
Fantastic. You know what? Thank you so much,
And you
Angelique.
must have done that already.
I appreciate that, Angelique. Thank you so much.
Gotta love updates. I just relaunched Chrome.
So Craig, why would I want someone doing a search on my website versus MLS? Now, I will tell you before we answer that, MLS is going to be a little bit more specific. So if you do have someone that is very, very, very specific on what they're looking for, you probably still want to use MLS. But Craig, why would you want to have somebody on your website
Because
searching?
if they click on it, it's going to track their activities and show me what they're looking at.
Okay, cool. So if I don't know who I need to contact, I can look at my activity feed in Moxie every day and see that Craig
Hey.
is clicking on it and saving stuff.
Yeah, you
Right.
probably can show because you send me updates. I get whatever they're called from your neighborhood news.
Yeah, you get neighborhood news.
And you've got some listings there, and I'll click on it.
Right.
And I'll go in and I'll look at that property because I'm interested in it. And it takes me straight to your website. So you can actually see that I went in there and clicked on
Yep.
something.
Well, I would say the
Yeah.
other thing too is the content that we give for you all, and
branding.
that's relevant in this market. There's so many more things that they're going to get from your website than they're going to get from MLS. MLS is just going to be a search. Whereas here on my website, I can go down, not only can I search, but I can go and let's say I'm just swiping through and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting married. How can you help? Or I decide I want to, you're just scrolling through my website and you see all these different projects that are available. And all of a sudden you want to, you're thinking about investing. There's just a lot more information that's available for you that you have potentially for your clients. So that's why I would do it. And you can track them. So this is how you do it on Engage. I mean, in Moxie, you go to Moxie Engage, find the person, go to what it says faves and saves. Click on that. So after you've updated all of your database and you got people in groups and you have that list of buyers that you need to make sure you're staying top of mind right now because I know a lot of you on this call, when we said what lane you're going to choose, you said buyer. So you should be doing all of these things that I'm talking about if you are focusing on buyers. The website's just going really slow. But here through faves and saves, I can start a new one. I need to refresh this. All right, so as you can see, there's nothing set up for this one. I can click create a search. Well, no, it's going to refresh one more time. All right, while that's loading, so faves and saves, put them on it. Once it loads up, I'll show you how to do it real quick. But again, there are videos on how to do this. Set it up to go out weekly, hourly, daily, whatever you want to do. And that's something else that you're going to stay top of mind. So even if you set it up for a buyer once a week, it's 4 times a month. Okay. That's a lot of touch points right there that are very specific to the buyer. Now, figure out what they're looking for. Don't just do a generic search.
Right.
You should have an idea of what they're looking for in the area that they're looking for. So get that set up so they're in the know of what's happening and you can track to see when they're actually.
That's once a week. That's 4 times a month. That's 48 times a year. And it's something they're interested in. So if they're in Tampa Heights, do a search on Tampa Heights and put them on it.
I mean, shoot, if they just want to be in Pinellas County, do that. Do his town. Do close to school, whatever that looks like. Okay. So we're going to do that. And then the next one that I want you to do is all your past clients and any seller leads. I want you to set them up on Neighborhood News. Okay. That's not faves and saves. That's not going to be a weekly email letting you know what's, going on the market and what's, focusing for them. It's literally a monthly newsletter that really focuses on kind of like Zillow, how they do their monthly newsletter.
Yep.
But really it's not convoluted by news or anything like that. It's just, this is what's happening in our area. And even Rachel says she loves the fact that she can, she can pinpoint exactly what she's looking for so they can get some nice numbers for all that stuff. Okay. So Neighborhood News for all of your past clients. Anybody who's a potential seller should be on Neighborhood News. Now, we talked about campaigns already, right? And eBlast, right, Craig, and Neighborhood News. And Just so you guys know, we've done close to 400,000. Let me try that again. 400,000 between neighborhood news and all of our campaigns and e-blasts that we've sent out this year.
That's incredible.
To talk about staying top of mind, and I said this in one of my trainings when I was up in corporate. Like, if you're in this area, so for those of you that aren't doing this, there's somebody that's doing it, and it quite
Right.
possibly could be someone in our area and our brokerage that's staying top of mind. So if you're not jumping on this bandwagon of neighborhood news and some of these campaigns and e-blasts, you're 400,000 is a lot. And that, for Century 21, like globally, it's like 17 million impressions they've had all year so far, and we've had 400,000 of those, which is, to me, that's a pretty big amount.
Well, I like to not sound threatening, but if you're not doing it, Zillow is.
I mean, it's true. I mean, we
Zillow
can't
is
say that.
contacting our customers left and right with, I get an update from Zillow at least once a week, tell me what my house is worth or something else that came on the market in my area. I mean, they're treating me like their customer.
Yep.
And if you're not, they are. So that's a 2024 must do.
All right, so let me show you this search real quick in Moxie since it's working now. I can come in specifically and let's say, for instance, you know what? I just want Ruskin. I want water. I can filter out some things. I want to have waterfront. And I don't want to spend, let's just leave it like that. And I want either single family or a townhome. That's all I want. Just enough to get something that's going to go out. Okay. Maybe I change price. Maybe I do beds and baths. Maybe I draw it out. Maybe I do a radius. Maybe I just do on the water, whatever you want to do. Okay. But once you do this and you go to email the settings, I can come down here and I can say, how often is it going? I would do it weekly right now until you start seeing somebody consistently looking at it every single day, and then set it up and hit send. This one has already been set up. So the nice thing is you can't send up multiple. So this one has already been, there's already an account for this one, so I can't do it. So it'd be a different email if that's the case. But there's that. And then if I want to do neighborhood news, I just come down here to subscriptions, click add. Again, there's videos for this. I'll walk you through where all the training is in just a second. I can do quick by zip code, or I can do neighborhood news by a target. So let's say, for instance, I want to do Symphony Isles. So I could come in here if I wanted to. Oops.
Draw it around.
My picture's in the way. Oops, I went too far. You like that?
Yeah,
That's
perfect.
nice. Anyways, so just something like that if I wanted to. And I could set that up, and then that's what would actually be sent out for them. So they'll tell you what's active, what's sold. And I can customize it to that extent if I want to. Which I'm not going to do that because I already have one on
See,
that.
I didn't know 942 at the market. I should know that.
Yep.
I know they just sealed their driveway, so it's been cleaning it up.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you should be doing this in your farms anyways for yourself. Like, I would
Yeah,
set yourself up on
100%.
all this so you can see what it looks like. All right, next up. So, okay, I only got 7 minutes. So I'm gonna hit these other ones quickly. I already talked about Soci. But make sure if you haven't signed up yet, if that's something that you want, Soci is going to be the automated social media content provider for you, as automated
Through
as
Moxie, just listed, just
some
sold.
of it's through Moxie, some of it's through, specific marketing campaigns and things like that, built kind of around the agent and posted around the times that their people are actually doing it. So, the nice thing with it is Soci can handle multiple social media platforms. Okay, not just one location to be able to post and put all the stuff up in there. Our content's going to be available. Their content's going to be available. It's going to sync up with Moxie and Press, so it can post all your just listed open houses, just sold, price reductions automatically for you. Or for those that don't want it automatic, you can actually have it set up where you can approve everything. Or if you just don't want any of that and you want to post your own and just use an awesome platform that will give you the analytics are going to be insane. Think of it like this. If you go and try and schedule something to be posted in Facebook, it's going to tell you like at 7:00 on Monday night, because that's a generic thing that it says. It's when everybody's on Facebook. This may say for Craig, this is going to need to post at 3:45 because that's where your people are interacting and most likely in it. So you're going to show up more and better than just some random post that you're actually doing.
That's crazy.
Let's see. Update tasks, task list, and Moxie Engage. I don't have a lot of time for this. I will do a class on this at the beginning of the year. So this one, I watched the video I have, but I will do a class on this because this is where it's going to tell you who to follow up with and when. Okay.
Mhm.
And then the last two things in here, farming. I have mailers available. I have mailers for buyers and sellers, which you can turn those into, you can actually turn those into social media posts if you want to do that. I would start prepping these. You do have to use Canva for this to work. And I will send these out also for you. But like, for instance, these buyer postcards, I have to finish one little thing up on this that will walk you through how to use Canva and print these up. Most of you should be able to figure it out, but I just want to make sure that you have these. So for instance, these are all the buyer type campaigns that are mailers that are available. And each one of these are going to be customizable to yourself. So when I say set this up, if you're going to play the farming game and you're going to mail, I want you to come in here, make your copies, do what you have to, and then add your picture, add all your data in there that you need to. So it's ready to go when you want to go. So for instance, for this one here, like all you would have to do is just update your information down here in the bottom left. But I will send you, when I send this to you, there's going to be a link on the top that will walk you through kind of a step-by-step how to make the edits, how to print it out, and how to make sure you're going to have to do a couple things to make this work. But there's a lot available. And thank you, Sam, for helping out with that. And then finally, update your presentations. So we have a lot of presentations available for you as a brokerage, but I know a lot of you have done a lot of business this year. You may have testimonials you need to update. Maybe there's a video that you need to do. Maybe you need to just tweak the presentations to how you do business. Get them set up and ready to go so you don't have to do any of that. When you get that lead, your buyer presentation is ready. You can send it out right away from wherever you're at and not have to worry about, I got to add a new video, or I have to update my testimonials, or I need to update this. And then
And
all
then
of a
you
sudden
don't
you
do
don't do it.
anything because you're not ready.
So, and let's talk about present real quick. We've done over 10,000 presentations as a brokerage.
That's impressive.
Okay. Out of that 10,000, about 75, 80% of them are seller presentations. Craig, what percentage of business do we do that's buyer versus seller typically for the
Actually, it's
brokerage?
more like almost 60% buyers.
Okay. So if we have 60% buyers, but we're only doing 20% presentations for the buyers, I think we have a miss there.
Well, that's going to be a real important thing going into 2024 when this lawsuit
Yes.
comes through. So,
oh yeah, and we're gonna tweak some stuff so it allows you to show up better and be able to answer some questions that we're hearing all the time, and you know, just something you can share. But if you're not using the buyer presentation for your buyers, you are totally missing out because there's gonna be a lot of people getting off that sideline this year,
yeah,
and they're gonna work with the people that are staying top of mind and show up better.
yeah.
So
My
if you're not doing
biggest fear
any of
for
this
that,
stuff, like right,
when the buyer finds out they may have to pay your commission, they're going to say, "Screw it, I'm just going to go straight to the listing agent," and you're going to be left out until you
Yep.
demonstrate value. And so, we're going to help you do that strongly.
Shout out to Ryan from Apollo Beach, right? He was working with a seller that was he has a buyer and the seller was not going to pay commission, and he had enough value and was able to get the buyer to pay for it.
Nice.
So fantastic job. Newer
Way to go,
agent
Ryan.
that is just believe that. I mean, that's fantastic. I don't even know if he's on. Let's see. Oh, poor guy. Now, oh, look, I gave him. Oh man, if anybody, hey, someone send Ryan a text and be like, man, they just called you out in a good way. Great job. Okay, so that's about all I have. I got 2 minutes. So where do we find all this training?
That's what you got to cover. Because you really, it seems overwhelming. Holy shit, I got to do all this. None of this stuff is hard. And really, you're going to have an extra hour a day, Monday through Friday, this week and next, or tomorrow,
Yes.
and all next week to do just knock it out. Eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Yes. Schedule yourself Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday next week, and tomorrow at that from 8:30 to 9:30. Do something. And like, I guess, I mean, the cat's out of the bag, Craig. I will post that literally at 8:30 every day next week except for Christmas. We will be live, but there's not going to be a meeting. It's literally just going to be that list, and you can just go in there and be like, oh my God, this is okay. This is what I need to do.
Love it.
Okay. But what you're going to do is just go to begginsagents.com. That's the easiest way to go there. And if you're BE3, you click here. And if you're Century 21 Beggins, you click here. Century 21 Beggins takes you to our Teachable website or our Next Level Resource Center. There are some changes coming to this down the line. Don't worry about it right now. This is where you're going to come in here and at least find the majority of the information that I'm talking about. And if you want to, all you have to do when we're on the Next Level Resource Center is go to MoxieWorks and go down each one of those and you'll see everything that you need. On the Beggins Agents, when we go to BE3, you're going to go to the technology page and click on MoxieWorks, and all this stuff is going to be in there for you.
Same content.
So everything is here. All right, so if you want to create a custom presentation, if you want to go into MoxieWorks, and just make sure you're signed up and ready to go, it's all in here. Adding and updating contacts is in here. Settings and sales flow, that's what I was talking about, which I'll hit on,
And
a
look,
little
it's
later.
17 minutes in 40 seconds.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. They're chopped down, they're shortened, you don't have to watch a whole hour-long class on how to
Yep.
do.
Setting up a campaign. Here's neighborhood news. Here's faves and saves. We get into, here's your CMAs and actually, creating some custom things if you want to do that. Here's Moxie Present if you want to do newsletters. Here's Moxie, and I didn't talk about Moxie Impress. Websites, editing the things that you need to, personalizing your website, adding testimonials to your website. Everything that I talked about, we have a video that's already been done and some printed material that you can follow up on. Not all of them have printed. So it's all here. And again, if you go into Beggins Agents and we click BE3, this makes me log in. For those of you who don't know that you're logging and stuff, there's a little thing that's going to pop up for you. Technology Hub. Oops, sorry. I don't think Mike's on. Mike, this thing's acting cray. Anyways, come down here, Technology Suite, and you can train on it. It's acting really, really crazy right now. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to touch it, Craig.
No, Mike's not on.
Your Tech Suite, and so you can come down here and you can see.
MoxieWorks.
Yep.
Put it in the bus you want. The same video. Jimmy,
Boom, that's it.
excellent list
That's all
of
I
things
got.
to do.
That's all I got.
Excellent list of things to do. But do us a favor, send that list out. Let's put it up on an email.
Yeah, I'm gonna send out, so you just at least have that list when you're ready to and you can start going through and looking at it all.
And Angelique's back now, so we'll probably get an in case you missed an email next week. Probably not on Monday, but then you can.
Yeah, please, Angelique, unless it's automated.
Yeah, don't send it out on Monday.
Please don't send it out on Monday. But I will probably tell you that you'll probably see this video on Facebook later on today, at least. So yeah, okay, so not automated. So Angelique, do not send it out on Monday, please. Pretty please.
Right.
But yeah, there should be on our agent Facebook page. You should see the video on there too. So you'll have that.
But guys, this is really important to do for the end of the year. I mean, you can't take the whole 10 days off. So let's make sure we're polished and shined, ready for 2024, because it's going to be an exciting, fantastic year. Told you, I'm super excited. I wrote an email the other day. Probably we're going to see NAR's membership drop to 1 million agents instead of 1.5 million, which means there's going to be 500,000 fewer people asking for business. There'll be a lot less business too, but you're going to be competing for more of it. And we want you to look super polished. So this will help you get
And
there.
I will tell you, this will be my last pitch and the last thing you'll hear about Moxie, because we're not having any other meetings anyways for a little while. I promise if you use this system, I promise you'll get more business.
Yep.
I don't mean to say promise. It's probably not the right thing, but it will happen. And I see it all the time. All the time if you use this system.
Well, the chat cut off at 100, so I don't know how many we actually got, but there's a lot going on. So we're getting a lot of Merry Christmas wishes too. So Merry Christmas, ho 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 to everybody.
Be safe, okay? Don't do anything that Craig, myself,
right.
or even Chris Reed would do in the next week and a half. We know that could be a lot of could be crazy.
one of my Peloton trainers says, if you can't be safe, be careful. So that's what you get. All right, Merry Christmas, everybody. Talk to you soon. And of course, we're always available for questions and stuff. So my phone is on.
Yes, we're definitely available for you. Definitely.
And we're having a lot of closings between now and the end of the year too. So
Yeah.
call us
All
with
right.
your questions.
All right, fantastic. You guys have fun.
Feliz Navidad.
Yes. Now go get a tan on the beach with
That's right.
Christmas.
All I want for Christmas is a real good time.